Welcome back to Purple's TWOW Odyssey All-Stars. This is episode 10B. Something I forgot to mention the last two episodes, and almost forgot to mention this time as well, is that this results reveal decides the alumni of this season. Our top 7 contestants will be considered the alumni of the alumni season, or meta-alumni if you will. The alumni stage has absolutely no meaning this season since everyone has access to Elite Estate to begin with, and elimination cards started at the final 9. So, the only thing the top 7 get is a fancy role on the Discord server. Speaking of the Discord server, Elysia is back, which means team players now work as they used to again. Here are the current team counts. Minipanga Dave has the most supporters, while Wyatt, ITOD, and site director Solix Hakare tie for having the least. Anyway, last time, our 8 alive contestants submitted 17 responses to the prompt. Nursing homes are boring. The elderly that live there basically do nothing all day. What's something you could add to make their experience more interesting? This round, 25 voters cast 50 votes, thanks to Vortex83, Foxy, Arcadia, Haxalotl, OVCZ, Ender, J-Poms, Minipanga Dave, Site Director Solix Hakare, Mervin, Kozki, Random Gamer 123, Plasmic Trojan, Augie279, Lay Unicorn, Gizmo Dude 8128, Wyatt, Razor Force 21, ITOD, Blandy, The Math Guy, Izzy, Jess, Fonda 1515, and an Epic for voting. Results time. First up is ITOD, who has won 4 out of the 9 rounds so far, including last round. His higher scoring response was, give them free tap dancing lessons. They already have the canes. A clever and concise take on a popular elderly stereotype. How'd this response fare with the voters? %58%. Almost certainly not enough to prize, but you're likely safe. Up next is Izzy, who submitted, competitive scavenger hunts for items other Scatterbrain seniors have lost. Looks like they managed to combine both a fun activity and something that would help the nursing homes community into one of my favorite responses of the round. How'd they do? 69.5% is a fairly good score, making Izzy safe and putting them in contention for a prize. Also note that every score of this round will be a clean multiple of 0.5%, as that's what equates to 1 vote placement when there are 9 responses per screen with 25 votes. Up next is our frontrunner, Site Director Solix Hakare. She submitted, Dungeons & Dragons. Even if infirm, they can adventure freely. Classic nerd using a word I don't know the definition of in her response. I find the thought of 80-year-olds playing D&D pretty amusing, honestly. Did the voters like this? %61% is enough for safety. Next is Plasmic Trojan, who submitted, cameras attached to drones. Patients can explore without going outside. Honestly, a pretty creative idea that the hypothetical seniors might enjoy. Nothing much else to say. How'd this do? And Trojan also gets a score of 61%, which makes him safe into the next round. Up next is Minipanga Dave, who expressed his pessimism once again this round. He submitted, rent a grandchild stations. Youthful visitors will rejuvenate the elderly. Pretty funny and creative idea. Also, this response is technically 8 words. I no longer show word counts, so it doesn't matter regardless. Will Dave's conjecture come true? Not even close. Dave gets 66.5% and is safe into the next round. Up next is Conspicuous Piggy, who submitted, attach foam to wheelchairs for thrilling games of bumper boomers. This was undeniably my favorite response of the round. Bumper boomers. That sounds like it had become such a classic. %60.5% is enough for safety. Up next is Efficiency Champion and Consistency Master Wyatt. His higher scoring entry was, debate a controversial policy. Chaos ensues whenever politics is mentioned. Interestingly, his lower scoring entry is the one that got far more praise on the Discord server, though it was extremely controversial. His higher scoring ones seem to go largely uncommentated though. Politics aren't the safest thing to mention in a TWOW response. Did this cost Wyatt safety? Oh dear, 40% is a very low score, but it's still possible for him to live. On the other hand, ITOD is finally safe, and it's time for the danger zone. It's Wyatt against last round scraper, Lay Unicorn. He submitted, "Spice things up with a cooking competition amongst the residents." Ooh, okay. This response was also pretty controversial over on the Discord server. Puns are a pretty old meta at this point, so submitting this was also pretty risky. Regardless, all Uni has to do is beat 40% to survive. Can he do it? And just barely, by only 3 vote placements, Lay Unicorn is safe with 41.5%, and we sadly have to say goodbye to Wyatt. Well, it was a surprise to see your performance, to say the least. At the beginning of the season, I had no idea who you were, even though you made it to Alumni in Season 2. I barely saw you anywhere outside of that one season until you suddenly joined All-Stars. In a sea of extremely relevant names, I didn't expect you to get too far at first. You stayed relatively under the radar, placing around the middle without doing anything noteworthy, until you got far enough that being alive was noteworthy enough as it is. As the last contestant alive to have yet to receive a prize, you became the efficiency champion, just 2 rounds before your death. It pains me to see you die the round before Alumni, as I was on your team, but once again, it had to happen to someone. And in the end, even if you did get eliminated here, it seems that since the beginning of the season over a year ago, you've come back to the community in many other servers outside this one, and I'm glad to see you getting yourself known, especially by Nerd and the rest of the Glico team. Thanks for participating. Here's the full leaderboard for this round. Now for statistics. As you may know, the late vote policy is that votes past the deadline are not accepted unless the voter asks for a small extension before the deadline. This round, there was sadly someone who voted past the deadline without asking beforehand, and as a result, their votes could not be counted. But alas, if they were counted, this would have happened. As you can see, there would have been a tie for the scrape spot, and I would have had to get another vote. And who knows what could have happened then. This round was incredibly intense and close throughout the voting period. Here are the ranks after every vote. ITOD seemed to be the clear divide between the top 5 and the bottom 2, always staying at 6th place, while everyone else moved around erratically. Here's the score version. This shows how close the elimination was the whole time, and here's the Sheets version. As for relative ranks, Site Director Solix Hakare continues to be the frontrunner, while ITOD continues to be crazy wild. With Wyatt now eliminated, Lay Unicorn takes Efficiency Champion, being the first contestant to scrape twice in a row, and Conspicuous Piggy takes Consistency Master. Here was last round's matrix. The average chance of a correct prediction happening was 14.69%, so we have defeated pure randomness again. Great job, guys. Here's this round's matrix. Site Director Solix Hakare has the highest chance of winning next round, while Lay Unicorn has the lowest. As for mentions, Dave still leads by a lot, having been mentioned in every episode except for 4A, and that's only because I forgot his confessional that round. ITOD is now in 2nd place. Anyway, the round 11 prompt is, create a convincing advertisement for a product nobody needs. Respond to this prompt by October 23rd, 2019 at 22:30 UTC. Izzy can send 3 responses because they prized this round, while everyone else can send 2. At the end of this round, the contestant that wins the round will prize, while the contestant that has their highest scoring response placed the lowest out of all contestants will be eliminated in 7th place. Alright, that's it. Move on with your day, everybody.